All right, for decades, we've all thought about search in pretty much the same way, but all of that is changing, and it is changing fast. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on this brand new world of AI search and figuring out how you can actually win in it. Yeah, this quote right here, it really says it all. The game has just fundamentally changed. That familiar list of 10 blue links that we have all spent years trying to climb is, well, it's quickly becoming a thing of the past. And this is the new reality. It's a tough question, right? When an AI gives a single confident answer to a question, what happens to everybody else? If your brand isn't the one cited in that definitive response, then for that person, in that moment, you basically don't exist. It's a super high-stakes game. So what are the new rules of the game? Well, we're shifting from a search engine that gives you a whole list of possibilities, homework for you to do, to an answer engine that gives you a single definitive conclusion. It's a world where being the right answer is all that matters. And this brings us to a whole new discipline, answer engine optimization, or AEO for short. The goal here isn't just to rank on some list anymore, it's to actually become the trusted source material that the AI itself quotes. You have to optimize to be the answer. Now, to really master AEO, you can't treat all AI the same. That's a huge mistake. Each major platform has its own personality, its own biases, and its own set of rules for what it decides to trust. So let's meet the key players and figure out how to win each of them over. First up, the big one, ChatGPT. The best way to think of this engine is like a popularity contest. It pays a ton of attention to what people are talking about, what's buzzing online, and which brands have a really strong voice in the community conversation. And here's why that's such a big deal. Look at this. ChatGPT is citing brands in 42% of its answers. That is a massive opportunity for visibility, but you have to know how to get its attention first. So how do you do it? How do you win the popularity contest? Well, you have to get people talking about you. ChatGPT rewards what we call external quotability, which is really just a fancy way of saying you need to get mentioned on high-authority sites. News outlets, respected industry blogs. The real key is to build the AI's general understanding of your brand. And with over 200 million weekly users, every single mention is a huge win. Okay, let's move on to our next engine, Perplexity. If ChatGPT is the popularity contest, I want you to think of Perplexity as the super meticulous, transparent librarian. It loves data, it loves facts, and most importantly, it always shows its work by citing its sources. And this is why Perplexity is so important for anyone trying to measure their work. A staggering 91%. 91% of its answers come with clickable citations. This makes it by far the best platform for actually measuring the direct traffic you get from your AOE efforts. You can literally see what's working. So, to win with Perplexity, you have to think like a researcher. It absolutely rewards data-driven reports and original thought leadership. It also loves content that's easy to digest. So think concise summaries, maybe even TLDR sections at the top. This is the place where you can really track your work and see that referral traffic come in. And finally, we've got Gemini, which I like to call the corporate gatekeeper. Since it operates inside Google's whole ecosystem, it has a very, very strong authority bias. It tends to trust the established players and brands that have all their ducks in a row. Getting noticed by Gemini is all about technical precision. It favors brands that, have their house in order. This means your brand needs to be described in the exact same way everywhere online. It also responds really well to structured data. That's basically just special labels you add to your website's code to help AI understand what your content is about. And hey, even if you don't get a direct click, just being included in a Gemini answer is a powerful form of validation. Okay, so we've met the players, we know their quirks. Now, how in the world do we build a strategy that works for all of them? Well, the good news is there's a really clear, actionable framework. Let's walk through the 4 essential steps to get ahead in AI search. This is it. This is the blueprint. First, source authority. That's all about where you're being talked about. Second, entity clarity. How consistently you're being described. Third, citation density. How often you're being mentioned. And finally, structured content. How easy it is for a machine to read your website. So let's break down that first step. Generative Engine Optimization, or GEO. Think of this as the PR arm of AEO. It's all about getting your brand mentioned and validated by trusted third-party sources, the kind of sources AI models use to learn about the world. This is how you build your brand's reputation with the AI. And that second step, entity consistency, is absolutely non-negotiable. Here's the key takeaway. Your brand needs a single, unified story that you tell everywhere. Why? Because AI gets confused by mixed messages, and it will punish you for being inconsistent. You need one description of your brand, and it has to be replicated perfectly across your own site and all those major online directories. Clarity is king. Now, I know this all sounds great in theory, but what does it actually look like in practice? Does this stuff really work? Let's look at a case study that shows the incredible impact of putting this framework to the test. So, meet Flowboard. Before they started implementing AEO, they were only included in about 9% of relevant AI prompts. They were basically invisible. But after applying this framework, their inclusion shot up to 29%. They went from being completely overlooked to getting measurable traffic from Perplexity, and even showing up in Google's AI overviews for the very first time. That's a huge jump. So what was the secret? The crucial point here is that it wasn't one magic bullet. Their success came from the stacked effect. Flowboard did the hard work. They implemented technical optimizations, they created content that was so good other people wanted to cite it, and most importantly, they made sure their brand was described consistently everywhere. It's the combination of all these things that really makes a brand machine readable and quotable. And this brings us right back to that central question. Flowboard discovered they were nearly invisible, and they took clear steps to change that. So now, it's time to turn the mirror on yourself and think about your own brand. And I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Right now, whether you know it or not, the world's largest AI models have already formed an opinion about your brand. It's based on all the data they've consumed from across the web. So the most important question you can ask yourself today is this: do you know what that opinion is? So if you're wondering what the AI engines actually think about your brand, don't guess. Go find out. Run your free AI visibility score and see exactly how ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude describe you today and where you're being left out. AI search is already rewriting the rules. The brands that win are the ones that become legible, structured, and site-worthy. Start your scan, get your score, and take control of how AI sees you before your competitors do.